Welcome to Tales from Outer Suburbia by SHAUN. No, not my Sean. My Sean is spelled like this. Alright, let's get this started with. Now, mainly the Tales from Outer Suburbia, they themselves are actually pretty interesting amounts of stories inside of them as well, too. Tales from Outer Suburbia, I'm guessing suburbia is a wordplay on suburbs. All these stories seem to be happening on a different planet as well too. You get all the rounds and the areas, and the drawings themselves go ahead and complement it as well too. You get this one exchange student who is made of black fuzzy things, that is a foreign exchange student. Then you have like a tale about your grandpa and your grandma on how their wedding was, and that how the tradition of getting a wedding was you have to go ahead and spend 12 hours going ahead and searching for 100 objects or something like that. It did exaggerate a lot. And then how that one of the final objects was their wedding rings. And then the grandma also agreeing, even though grandpa has a pretty big imagination, saying, I usually don't agree with him, but I'll make a big exception for this one. And with that, of course, you get things as well, too. Then you have this giant ball made of poems, and then then suddenly it starts getting rained upon, and then it turns into, according to the book, millions and millions of paper shreds, and each written with some sort of word on them. And not a lot of people actually went ahead and understood what they meant as well, too. We even get this story about the scuba diver who only speaks Japanese. I don't know how to write Japanese, so I won't be writing it. And then he goes ahead and maybe finds his mom, because some two kids decide to play a prank on their mean old neighbor, and then she suddenly cries, and they're like, did we go a little too far? Did we go a little too far? And then they realize the guy with the scuba diver mask goes ahead, takes out the scuba diver mask, and basically says something in Japanese. She responds back with some sort of language, and then beckons him inside, slams the door, the windows are all cut and down, and never heard from her again. Although since then, music has come out, and of course there was some sort of food smells coming out too. Some of the pictures themselves show, if you remember that grandpa and grandma story, some TV monsters going ahead and trying to attack the grandpa and the grandma when they were younger, so just so that they can't do their scavenger hunt. The grandpa and the grandma going ahead and getting stuck in a traffic jam. But not your ordinary traffic jam. It was a traffic jam of robot penguins and stick figures, except these were actually made of sticks, and lots of people hated them and said, what are you doing here? Tell us your reason. They just stayed there doing nothing, just walking around. They smashed them up into their own little sticks, and they don't get the care in the world. They just walk around moping, and they're like, and people get angry saying, why aren't you talking to us? And starts going ahead and killing them by snapping off their heads or something. All that. Then we have these dongus. Somehow dongus got onto a lawn of a person. The point is, Tales from Outer Suburbia, it's pretty dramatic as well too. You get a bunch of interesting things, such as a world that looks a lot like Earth, but doesn't act a lot like Earthlings do as well too. I'm guessing Outer Suburbia is like another word for an outer Earth, like Tales from Outer Suburbia. And then again, this apparently at the back of the book, it literally said, thank you to the Australian government for helping us and giving them access to their library. I'm guessing Outer Suburbia is like from Australia, the Australian counterpart of Suburbia? I'm also not sure, but then again, it is outside of the suburbs, and Australia is also called Down Under. It's the upside down place, and of course lots of people seem to like it as well too. Tales from Outer Suburbia went ahead and showed us things that we can go ahead and just imagine of doing as well too. Poems, letters, anything. You can dream about it too. But these tales from Outer Suburbia are pretty outlandish for me, that I can't say all this within 5 minutes, so I have to cut the video off right now. One thing I can say is, I think this is from another planet, if not Australia, and Sean Tan really did write an interesting story, as well as the illustrations that accompanied it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you guys soon in the review of Tales from Outer Suburbia. Until then, Sean out, peace. Bye bye.